Hello, everyone. Welcome to Developing Palates. I'm Aaron Loomis, coming to you from the Ventura Cigar Company studio, and with me, as always, is Jiunn Liu. How you doing, Jiunn?
So good.
Corporate life treating you well?
Fuck it.
And also joining us today is John Reiner. How you doing, John? Or sorry, John McTavish. How are you
Mm.
doing, John McTavish?
Doing good, brother. Doing good. The sun is shining. It is almost, well, it is pretty much warm enough for Canadians to smoke. So it is all sunshine and rainbows up here.
Fantastic. So today we are talking about the Jeremy Jack JJ14 Corona Gorda. The cigar is 5.62 inches by 46 ring gauge. Comes out of the Tabsa factory in Nicaragua. Wrapper is Ecuadorian, Connecticut. Binder and filler are both from Nicaragua. Price point is $7.50, and the cigar was released in July of 2017. So with all that out of the way, June, take us through your smoking experience with the cigar.
Profile of the cigar. Cigar started out immediately with, for me, a pretty surprising amount of black pepper, especially for Connecticut Shea cigar. So a lot of a decent amount of spiciness in general. I got some spicy cedar, like a raw cedar to it. Um, Nuttiness, retrohaling. That black pepper still pops pretty good, and it also was it was balanced out by also a heightened sense of the dry nuttiness as well. So um, finish pretty lengthy, spicy cedar, black pepper on the rear palate. Body wise, it was medium throughout. Strength, by the time it got to about the second third, it went from medium to medium full, which I don't really remember many times I smoked a Connecticut Shea where I said anything that touches medium full. Um, so very spice driven. Within like the second third, that spice kind of tapered down a little bit. Got some good toasted bread out of it. Still like that same old nuttiness. That's always a welcoming note for me. But the last third is where the cigar kind of tapered and kind of went a little downhill for me. I thought that it picked up quite a bit of a gradual increase in wood bitterness. Wood bitterness again, nothing that is a bad note, but when it gets to the point where it's too much and it takes over the other flavors, that's when I not like it. So that's exactly what happened with this profile. Is that it became so bitter that it really overshadowed the other notes that I was tasting. So overall, it was a good representation, but that last third needed some help.
How about you, John? What was your smoking experience like?
Man, it was good.
You would like
Um,
to explore that a little bit more?
yeah. Similar. I think June and I had a very similar smoking experience. I was also very surprised at how aggressive the pepper was. I actually put in my notes in the first third. It actually was reminiscent of chewing on jalapenos. Like it hits you, or I should say jalapenos. I mean, it does kind of build up. So like initially the first few draws, I wasn't really getting that, and I thought, oh, okay, well maybe this isn't really super intense. And then it was like someone flipped a switch, and the pepper barn got opened, and it was just like, whoa, okay. Now it was nicely balanced against what I would say was a really rich and complex cocoa on the retrohale, a little bit of hay. But that pepper, I mean, it especially for Connecticut, it's aggressive. So I think if somebody's looking not a fan of pepper, this might be a little bit of a scary stick. If you like pepper, I'm shocked at how balanced it was while still being as aggressive on the pepper. The cocoa continued to build. I think the first third was definitely the most intense. The second third for me, everything started to kind of harmonize. The pepper dialed down. The cocoa was about same level of strength. Had a nice sweetness, a little bit of nuttiness. Some of that cedar that June was talking about in the post draw kind of brought it together. A little bit of leather in the mix, but not like sometimes you can smoke a cigar and it's like you're chewing on a leather keychain. Like it just kind of really coats your palate. Here it just kind of give you that the leather without dominating your palate. And then again, like June, I felt the complexity really kind of fell off a bit in the last third. I didn't get any of the bitterness. I did get a lot of hay, so maybe that's what it was. But like I got that like really like dry hay, and that was kind of the dominant flavor in the last third. There was still a little bit of spice and pepper, but really not to the same complexity level as the first and middle third.
And then what was your construction like for this one?
I have this thing marked as flawless. Or pardon me. Let me correct that. The cigar was flawless until I took the footband off, and bit of a drag because unfortunately there's a little bit of glue left on that footband and it tore the wrapper on the foot. Kind of disappointing. I wouldn't say that's a construction issue. I mean, that could happen to anybody putting the bands on. That's obviously not a flaw in the cigar. So I did dock it, but I mean, other than that, the cigar itself was perfect. And I got to say, for a Corona, well, Corona Gorda, an hour and 46 minutes smoking time, which to me is pretty good value. I mean, yeah, somebody could probably powerbomb that in an hour and 15, but great smoking experience. And I think I put here that the draw was what I would classify as flawless. So like I have a new sort of high standard for a perfect draw, and it's the Jeremy Jack JJ14.
Nice. Yeah, I'll go along with you guys because at the beginning of the cigar it was like heavily toasted wood, and I got that some of that potent baking spice, but that kind of quickly turned into that black pepper spice. Retro Hill had a decent black pepper zine to it also, with a bit of a wood supporting note to it. A slight creaminess kind of entered in, smoothed out that toasted wood and black pepper a little bit. Second, third, that toast kind of left the wood, and it was like a dry earthiness was joining in. And the Retro Hill lost that black pepper note as well, or the bite at least from the black pepper. It was more wood forward with the pepper in the background. Still got a little bit of dry earthiness going on, with a little bit of cream in the background of the profile. Final third got a little bit of hay that joined in with the wood up front. The cream had left, and then it started getting a little bit of a char that joined the wood. The profile was a little bit drying there, but just like you guys, I mean, strength started medium full. Halfway into the first third, I think it went down to medium, and then kind of stayed at like that slightly above medium mark the rest of the way. In regards to the construction, the burn was razor sharp, but it went out on me twice, so I had to do a couple of relates. So I think I probably had the worst burning cigar from the three of us. Ash held on about 1 inch increments. In regards to the draw, though, I thought it was perfect, just like you guys did. I mean, I had no issues with the draw on this cigar at all. So Jiunn, what were your overall thoughts on this one?
It was good overall. Heavier spice baseline, transitioning to more nuttier bread, kind of a yeast kind of a note. It was engaging. It was delicious. Surprising amount of spice, surprising amount of strength. The last third tells me that the cigar needs some more rest, and hopefully it'll remedy the overwhelming amount of bitterness that I tasted. And once that last third gets worked out, I think it'll be quite the home run, especially, guys that want to smoke that extra spicier strength Connecticut shade.
Yeah. How about you, John? What were your overall thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I'm not sure you can get much more body out of a Connecticut without removing what makes a Connecticut cigar Connecticut. I mean, to me, this is like that 99.8% maximum flavor out of a Connecticut. And I think really, in the first third, you almost ran over all the flavors of the Connecticut. But like I said, it was like 99.8% up to that line, and then they just took a step back. Phenomenal experience, really rich, really complex. Like Jiunn was saying, it'd be nice if maybe it'll really come back with some rest for that last third to kind of pop like the first and second third, which isn't to say it wasn't good, because it was. It was just they set such a high watermark for the first and second third that you're kind of expecting experience all the way through. Great value for the cigar, amazing flavor. I mean, to me, this is the kind of cigar that raises eyebrows and you start looking at for your top list of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I think this goes along with the trends of the more recent Connecticut's, where it's definitely more strength than the traditional level. And this was an interesting one where you kind of get that pop of strength up front, and then it kind of dials back a little bit. For me, it kind of stayed at that level. I know maybe for Jiunn, it kind of ramped up as the cigar went along. But for me, this didn't seem like really a standout Connecticut. I mean, it didn't do enough for me. I know we all have different palates, and this one just wasn't a fit for me. I wouldn't have any problem, going back and smoking this cigar. I'm just probably not going to chase more down. I think there's enough other, more current Connecticut's that kind of do a little bit more for me. But like you said, I mean, the price point is fantastic on this cigar, so it's it's not going to hurt your wallet to even just try it out to see if you like it, and then if you do like it, then you can go buy more and still get a fair number of them for a good price. So getting to the scores, we have a wide range here. I gave it a 5.90, Jiunn gave it a 6.72, and John, you gave it 8.58. So Jiunn, how do you think that matched up with your experience?
I think John needs to revisit his score.
That does seem high, actually.
I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. It matches pretty well. I mean, 6.7 in this scenario. Overall, good tasting profile, really good construction, which I neglected to talk about. But I still gotta say, Jeremy Jack, I called it out pretty bad last year, 2 years ago, for my brand, but I'm saying by Jeremy Jack. So, note to future brand owners: just go to TAPSA, use Aganorsa, you'll be good.
How do you think your score matched up, John?
That actually does seem a little high. I'm kind of surprised, and I think what maybe brought it up to there is, the draw is perfect, the burn is perfect, at least was for me, and the flavor was really very good to excellent in the first and second thirds. So again, I don't see how you could possibly dial more flavor out of a Connecticut without losing what becomes a Connecticut. Like at that point, you might as well just slap a different wrapper on it. But it hits my profile perfectly. Like these are all the things I really enjoy in a cigar. I was very surprised at the intensity. I guess I'm not surprised at the score because, like I said, this is something that would land on my top list for the year. I was very surprised and very impressed. And, go Aganorsa. Like Jiunn's saying, I mean, you want to make good cigars, start at TAPSA and go from there because it seems like everything they're putting out is fantastic.
Exactly. Yeah, my score matches up well. I mean, it was a slightly above average flavor profile. Construction was fairly good. A little bit of issues with some relights, but otherwise, draw was fantastic. So, like I said, I mean, it would be a cigar I'd smoke again, but it's not gonna, it wouldn't be jumping out at me if I was looking at maybe 4 or 5 of more recent Connecticut shade cigars out there. So, any other final thoughts from you guys on this cigar?
I wonder if they're gonna come back to the show this year.
I would hope so.
No, it'll give you, I don't know, to me, the barometer of that will be kind of like, how well did they do this past year, right? To warrant wanting to spend the, operating expenses to do another trade show. So we'll see soon.
It's gonna be tough for them to get exposure if they don't. I mean, they weren't. I mean, even last year when you guys were talking about Jeremy Jack, and I was like, who?
Yeah.
I think you have to have repeated visits to the trade show to really get your name out because, quite frankly, a lot of retailers aren't necessarily going to take the chance at giving you some shelf space until the second year. I mean, how many retailers or how many manufacturers have we seen? They're there the first year, and then the second year, it's like, where'd they go?
Yep, exactly.
Also, I want a chance to try and smoke more of their stuff because, quite frankly, if the rest of their stuff is this good, I'm going to be a fanboy.
Yep. There you go. All right, if you're just catching this video on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us. But also check out the full written review on the website, developingpalates.com. Follow us on the social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Google+. And you can catch all of our review recaps on podcasts. So iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one.
Peace.